A common anxiety could be aging your brain faster and increasing your risk of. The consensus read is already outdated. What matters now is the second-order effect most commentary still ignores. We will map trigger, incentive shift, and downstream impact before the close. It's not. What researchers just discovered is that one specific anxiety, the kind most of us experience regularly, is accelerating brain aging by nearly a decade. And the worst part? You probably don't even realize it's happening. Let's break down what the research actually shows. A new study found that chronic anxiety doesn't just make you feel stressed. It physically ages your brain tissue. We're talking about measurable changes in brain structure and function that mirror what you'd see in someone 9 years older. That's not a metaphor. That's neurological damage accumulating in real time. Here's where this gets critical for how you live right now. The anxiety in question isn't the big dramatic panic attack kind. It's something far more common, persistent worry, rumination, that background hum of dread that never quite goes away. The kind of anxiety that's become normalized in our careers, our social media habits, and our news cycles. Most high performers and creators live in this state permanently. They think it's the price of ambition. The research says it's the price of cognitive decline. The mechanism is straightforward. Chronic anxiety floods your system with cortisol and adrenaline. Over months and years, this excess stress hormone damages the hippocampus, the part of your brain responsible for memory formation and learning. It also triggers inflammation in the prefrontal cortex, which controls decision-making, impulse control, and emotional regulation. Essentially, the part of your brain that manages stress becomes less effective at managing stress. You're caught in a downward spiral where anxiety begets more anxiety, and your cognitive capacity shrinks with every cycle. Now here's the counterpoint everyone needs to hear. Not all anxiety is destructive. Acute stress, the kind you feel before a presentation or a competition, actually sharpens your brain. It mobilizes resources. The problem is chronic, unresolved anxiety. The kind that persists even when there's no immediate threat. This is the anxiety that ages you. Why does this matter for you specifically? If you're a creator, an entrepreneur, or anyone managing multiple projects and audiences, you're likely living in a state of chronic low-grade anxiety. Your attention is fragmented. You're always slightly on edge. You're checking notifications. You're anticipating criticism. Your nervous system never fully recovers. The research suggests that over 5 to 10 years, this behavior could cost you a full decade of cognitive health. That's not just about memory. That's about decision-making quality, creative output, emotional resilience, and your ability to learn new skills. In India, this matters especially for students and young professionals navigating competitive exams, job markets, and social pressure. The anxiety-driven culture around board exams, entrance tests, and early career advancement is literally aging brains faster. A student in chronic exam anxiety might be experiencing the cognitive decline of someone 5 to 9 years older. That affects test performance, retention, and long-term learning capacity. It's a vicious cycle where anxiety undermines the very cognitive function needed to succeed. Globally, this research exposes a hidden cost of hustle culture and always-on work environments. Tech companies, finance firms, and high-pressure industries have normalized chronic stress as a badge of honor. The research shows it's actually a slow cognitive poisoning. The employees most exposed to this environment are experiencing accelerated brain aging while trying to perform at peak capacity. Eventually, the aging wins. So what changes next? This research will likely drive 3 major shifts. First, we'll see a move toward anxiety management frameworks in high-performance environments. Companies serious about retention and output quality will have to address chronic anxiety as a cognitive health issue, not a personal weakness. Second, consumer applications focused on stress resilience and nervous system regulation will become as common as fitness apps. Third, we'll see a reframing of what productivity actually means. If your strategy ages your brain 9 years in 5 years of work, it's not actually productive. It's extractive. For you right now, the actionable insight is this: your background anxiety level is directly affecting your cognitive future. Not just your feelings. Your actual brain structure and function. If you're living in chronic low-grade worry, about work, about content performance, about money, about what people think, you're trading years of cognitive capacity for present-moment productivity. That's a bad trade. The second-order effect is even more important. As this research becomes more visible, anxiety management will become a competitive advantage. Not because it makes you feel better, though it will, but because it preserves your cognitive function. Clear thinking, better decisions, faster learning, sharper creativity, all of these depend on a nervous system that's not in constant fight or flight mode. The people who solve their anxiety problem first will outperform their peers by margins that look impossible until you understand the neuroscience. This is worth paying attention to. Not because anxiety is new, but because now we have evidence that it's not just affecting how you feel, it's affecting how your brain ages. And that changes everything about how you should manage it. New research just revealed something most people don't realize: one specific anxiety is aging your brain up to 9 years faster. We're not talking about panic attacks. We're talking about the persistent, low-grade worry that never goes away, the kind embedded in your daily work, your inbox, your notifications. That background dread. It's not just making you feel stressed. It's physically damaging your hippocampus and prefrontal cortex, shrinking your memory and decision-making capacity. If you're a creator, entrepreneur, or anyone living in chronic low-level anxiety, your brain is aging at nearly triple speed. The worst part? This damage is preventable if you address it now. Your cognitive future depends on it. Focus on 3 layers: immediate trigger, structural incentive shift, and downstream effects on operators, users, and regulators. Then map scenario playbooks: optimistic execution, base case adaptation, and risk case where integration friction or policy reaction slows adoption. Close with concrete watchpoints and timeline markers instead of generic predictions.